1 Corinthians 2, verses 1 through 5. And I, brethren, when I came to you, I did not come with excellence of speech or of wisdom, declaring to you the testimony of God, for I determined not to know anything among you, except Jesus Christ and him crucified. My speech and my preaching were not with persuasive words of human wisdom, but in demonstrations of the Spirit and of power, that your faith should not be in the wisdom of men, but in the power of God. And 1 Timothy 2, verses 1 through 3. Therefore I exhort first of all that supplication, prayer, intercessions, and giving of thanks be made for all men, for kings and all who are in authority, that we may lead quiet and peaceable lives in all godliness and reverence, for this is good and acceptable in the sight of God our Savior. Really, there are just two solutions to all the problems in our community, in our California, and in our country. There are two problems that need addressing, and two solutions to address them. And these two are seen in the two verses I just read. The solutions are the preaching of the gospel and the praying for our leaders. It's easy, so easy to get sidetracked with everything that is going on, and to think that there are other solutions out there that we need right now. Fidelity to a constitution, getting in the right politicians. And both of those are needed things. So are many other ones. A balanced budget wouldn't be too bad. I mean, not listening to the Constitution could be a sin for a Christian, for that is listening to our governing authority after all. And so that is needed in our state, in the United States. It's a good thing. And getting the right politicians can help, because far too many politicians in our day are trying to garner support for themselves and your votes for themselves just to get them power and to make bad decisions in their own creation. But God, in his wisdom, knows what the true solution is and where it needs to start. The gospel preached and saints praying. That is the foundational need now and always, then and tomorrow. And that means we need to know why we are doing these things. And more importantly, if we are doing them. So let's do just a little obedience check in this exhortation this morning. First, the gospel preached. Are you listening to the gospel preached? Do you go to church? Are you studying the gospel the other days of the week? Are you speaking it when you get the chance? And second, praying. Do you pray for peace nationally? Do you pray for peace locally? Do you ask God that our leaders would be obedient to him and to the Constitution? Are you praying for Biden, Newsom, Rand Paul, Mayor Jimmy Durta, all of them? Are you praying for their conversion, for their faithfulness, that God would rebuke them when they do wrong and help them to do right? You know, each week in our newsletter, we have whatever government official we're praying for listed there. You might use it as a tool sometime. Often the problems that we are watching happen in Washington or Sacramento or in the world at large are just larger and grosser versions of the problems that are happening in our own souls and in our own lives. We must always, always, always clean the inside of the bowl before we start asking that God cleans the outside of it. And so let's chase down in ourselves, first and foremost, our unwillingness to listen to the gospel and our unwillingness to pray for our leaders before we start chasing our leaders down to do these things. Are you listening to the gospel? Are you regularly praying? And if you have fallen short in any of these things yourself, well, let's now ask God's faithfulness to cover that, our unfaithfulness, that we might have times of refreshing come to our own land. Psalm 69:5 says, "O God, you know my foolishness. My sins are not hidden from you.